Tonight, we look at Holosun's new red dot night vision fusion optic. We get attacked by a hipster with drones, and we fight back. It's all happening now on the 1911 Syndicate. Every year at SHOT Show, there's a few products that are the buzz of the show. In 2023, Holosun showed off a prototype of a rifle optic that would be both a daytime red dot, but as the sun goes down, converts into either a night vision or thermal sighting system. And that's interesting. For all of 2023, we waited in anticipation only to receive nothing. Fast forward the clock to 2024 SHOT Show, and the same optic is in the booth, only this time, it's the real deal. A production version that is about to come out. Now, I don't think I'm alone in saying that a red dot optic that combines nighttime capabilities at roughly $1,000, that can only mean one thing. We must shoot it. Except, because this is largely a piece of tech, it actually requires you to do any man's worst nightmare. Read the instruction manual. Red dot sight operation. Lockout mode activation. Hold the plus button for 3 seconds. The control contrast function. Click the OK button. CTRT. What is CTRT? I have no idea what CTRT is. Sharpness has 3. Sharp has 3 settings. HML, high, medium, low sharpness. Copy that. I get it. It's like algebra with the X and Z. But once you get through the manual, you're transported to another world. Here's the thing, that Holosun, it's such techie digital stuff that I felt the need for a counterbalance in my life.
Like something less digital or electronic?
Analog.
Okay.
Right, so we're going full analog. Guys, we never talk about watches on the channel. We're gonna change that a little bit moving forward. We've actually got what I think is just a super cool new sponsor for the channel.
Absolutely.
It's a shop, they're based in DFW called Wolvyn. We'll spell that on the screen so none of you get it wrong. But amongst the things that we're gonna do working with them is kind of bring you like highlighted watches of videos.
Yeah.
Pairing watches with guns is kind of a super cool little thing.
Yeah.
And hey, the Holosun is green night vision when you look through it. So we thought, hey, green panerized submersible, right? The E-Steel, this like, so I personally own a submersible. So do you, actually.
So do I. Yep.
This one's just on loan just to look cool in a video for you guys. But check out Wolvyn. Basically, all the hard to find brands like Rolex, AP, Patek, Omega, you know, go down the list, IWC, yada, 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 right? Richard Mille, all that kind of stuff. If you like bougie timepieces, that's what they specialize in. So you can find that stuff. Like I said, they're based in Dallas, family-owned business, 3 brothers, actually have a YouTube channel as well. But they ship nationwide, right? So you don't need to be in Dallas. Everything comes with warranties, all that kind of stuff. We won't go too far into it now. They'll be in some more videos moving forward. But for those of you who are kind of always going like, oh, talk a little bit about watches. Hey, Panerai Submersible is the watch of the day, thanks to Wolvyn. Go ahead and move on with the video. So no doubt you're wondering, how the heck does this thing actually work? Because it is a little bit funky when you first see it, and you're like, what is going on here? And at this point of the day, Chris hasn't actually shot this yet, right? We're still waiting for the sun to go down. But run you through some features here. So basically what you got is the DRS-NV, which stands for Digital Reflex Sight Night Vision. There's also a thermal version of this, and I would encourage you to maybe stick around the channel if you're not subscribed, because that video will be coming as well. So what you got is on the bottom there, you've got a red dot. Okay. And it's pretty standard Holosun red dot things. The first question, truthfully, I had in getting this is because it is so based around the nighttime, is the red dot even going to be usable? Like, is it going to be daytime bright? Yes, it is.
Plenty bright.
I actually zero those daytime in this exact same spot in Utah's bright desert, and that's perfectly adequate for daytime use, which is great because you could just use that for daytime.
Correct.
If it came down to it, right? So standard Holosun stuff, like I mentioned, multiple reticle systems, so you can run basically an EOTech reticle, a shotgun reticle, which you would not use that for shotguns, or a standard red dot. They got the shake awake feature, and all that kind of stuff, right? So pretty standard Holosun stuff. On top is where it gets interesting. So what you have there is a digital night vision sensor. And if you're anything like me, I've dabbled in night vision, not digital night vision though, right? So that was one of my first questions is, so what exactly is digital night vision? And so that I don't totally butcher this, I'm gonna read you an excerpt from a website that I pulled it from because I thought they summarized it well. Digital night vision cameras operate differently than traditional or analog devices in that they don't use any image intensifier tubes. Instead, they process and convert the optical image into an electric signal through a highly sensitive image sensor that is similar to those used in digital cameras. The electric signal that is produced is then transferred to a microdisplay, which provides a high-resolution image to the viewers. Now, let me put that in dummy terms, okay? I can make this very, very simple. So what you've got on top is basically a camera, okay? Just like a camera lens. What you are seeing here is basically a freaking TV monitor of what this lens is picking up. Okay. So the lens is looking out into the world and saying, cool, this is what the world looks like under night vision right now. It's transferring that basically into a little screen. Now, what becomes really fascinating about this is once the sun goes down, you'll see it's very trippy. So there's no need to actually have this lens cap down. So you literally just put that up at night because, again, all you're actually looking at is a screen that's showing
a digitally projected image on a screen.
Yeah, it's almost like a CCTV system or something. I mean, it really is kind of trippy and wild the first time you start playing with it. But so it operates in 60 frames per second. We'll show you kind of an image here of the back of the unit here because where you really control everything. The red dot itself you control just on the power buttons that are on the side here. That's where you turn up the brightness, change the reticle, all that. All the stuff related to night vision, you operate up top with power button and then a series of buttons that are back here. It looks a little intimidating at first, but let me just give you the cliff notes of it. There's a little magnifying lens looking button back there. That is the zoom feature. So you can basically run this thing at 1x, 2x, 4x, or 8x. Okay?
Cool.
Kind of cool, right? Yeah. Kind of cool. Like, does it look perfect at 8x? No. But we're not dealing with a $40,000 unit here. Yeah. Like, we're dealing with something we'll talk about in a minute. So you can run 1, 2, 4, or 8x. You've also got 6 different brightness settings. And that's one of the things that I would tell you guys. When I first got this and I was playing in my basement like an absolute nerd with it, when it's the darker it gets, probably the lower you're going to want to drop the brightness because you will catch some eye fatigue. Sure. After that first night, I was like, dude, my eyes are like smoked. Oh, really? And then I figured out like, oh, okay, cool. I can just crank down the brightness as it gets darker and darker, you know, and it's just a little bit more gentle in your eyes. There's 3 digital reticles for the night vision. So you can basically run it as like a crosshair or something that's like a little bit more of like a BDC. Okay. So you do have some actual reticles options. You can also just leave your red dot on
and have it overlaid.
Okay. Because truthfully, I found that's the fastest system is to just turn your red dot fairly low, but like just run your red dot. Like just run your red dot at night. It's digital night vision, so it's like you're not going to hurt anything. Cool. It's actually kind of neat, you know? There's an OK button that's in the center of that little back panel there. Basically, you press the OK button, and then you can start to cycle through the different menus. So you can that's where you control everything from there. It's through the OK button and then like the sub menus. It sounds a little complicated. It's really not that bad. Do you need to read the instruction manual? Yeah, I think is a case of like, yeah, actually got to read the damn thing. And it's going to be helpful and it's really not that bad. Okay. You can also do onboard recording. Basically, you just press the up button. If you just press the up button once when the unit's on, it'll take an image. If you just hold it down briefly, it'll start recording. It's got 24 gig onboard memory, which is pretty good, actually.
24 gigs?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then basically, you just take the little power cord that comes in the case, you hook it up to the side of the Optic right there into your laptop. Your laptop will recognize it, and then you can import the footage. It's kind of neat, right? And the thing's powered by 2 rechargeable 18350 batteries. There's the little thing right there. Basically, just unscrew that, and you can pop out the batteries. It does have... you don't even have to take them out to charge them. You can just also plug the thing in via the...
Oh, and charge through the Optic itself.
Yeah, and charge through the Optic itself. I've had varying results. Like, there's been moments where it didn't seem like that quite took, because it showed that the green light indicated that it was fully charged, but I turned it on and I didn't have full battery power. So it's like, might be a tad bit of glitchiness there. But, you know, we'll talk some more about that stuff.
It has, like, the battery level in here?
Yeah. Cool. You'll see on the screen... the battery level, you'll see how much space you have left on your hard drive.
Really?
Like, yeah, you can see all kinds of stuff.
There.
Or you can turn it all off.
Cool.
You can say, I don't want to see all that. I just want to see my reticle. Price on this bad boy is $1,176. Okay? Which is pretty stunning. So, on paper, this is a killer concept really with nothing in the way of competitors.
Yeah.
Right? So it makes all of the sense on paper, but the reality is paper only takes you so far. The real question is, what's it like to actually shoot the damn thing?
That's pretty cool, man. But it's a 100% positive ID through the Optic.
Yep.
I can see steel targets at, what is that, 60 meters? 50, 60. Hey, that's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Give it a whirl. Now it should be.
Now you're recording. All right, so just pick it up where natural.
All right, so. Okay. So. Hey, that's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So I can pick up the thermal bloom, like from the heat, because night vision will pick that up like a hot suppressor too, right? We're picking up the heat from the fires I put out. I can see the targets clear. I can even see the shape and the head box.
Right? Like, do you feel like you can engage that target just with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you can positively. I mean, I can barely see it with my naked eye, but it's a 100% positive ID through the Optic.
Yep.
So I can see all 3 easy.
And to give you guys a frame of reference too, like, we actually have pretty good sky conditions tonight for this. Like, it's actually quite clear, which is good, because like any night vision, the ambient light is gonna help. So when I've been out at night, when it's been really hazy and overcast, it definitely degrades.
Just like regular night vision.
Which is how night vision works for those of you that haven't dabbled in this.
Yeah.
So there's not an onboard emitter or illuminator or anything like that. So I have found, hey, when I actually switch on the IR illuminator, you'll see it all sort of start to crisp up again. But it's like, hey, there's a limit to how good that's going to be based on conditions.
Sure.
So it's like, you just got to be aware of that.
Just like standard night vision. It amplifies the ambient light.
Yeah, 100%.
So, okay. You want to try to engage some of those targets?
Yeah.
All right, guys, if you're ever looking for a way to support us, outside of just watching, subscribing, liking, commenting, right?
Yeah, great.
We are a real estate company, believe it or not. Jake's licensed here in Utah. I'm down in Arizona. We have affiliates all over the country. You need help with real estate, we're your guys. We also have a Patreon. If you just want to throw money at us, we do some limited release stuff there, like some watches, some lighters. We also host classes from reputable instructors, starting all over the country here recently.
Yeah, it looks like we'll probably have one on the East Coast later this year. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yep.
Not telling you who it's with, but it's someone you would know.
Yep, my bad. So if you've been watching for a while, want to support us even further than just watching, there's some ways. All right, let's give it a whirl.
Pretty feasible, right?
I mean, very feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With no assistance from an emitter or anything.
Nothing.
Literally just an optic.
It's just ambient light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean...
That's pretty cool, man. I'm going to be 100% honest. It's cooler than I really thought it was going to be.
That's a tad below $1,200.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you can PID everything.
Yeah. So just like, you know, Crispy's trucks over there. No one's in Crispy's trucks. I mean, you can look at that and just kind of the desert in general.
Yep. Can see Crispy's truck. I can see the decals on it. I can make out the Toyota symbol.
Yep.
The light from here hits to about across the street and then it dies pretty quick after that.
Uh-huh.
But those bushes block a lot of it. So, I mean, I can see out there 50 meters. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And keep in mind too, so let's do this. Let's hit the zoom.
There's a round chambered too.
Yep. So I think that's on
5.
I think I'm on 4X now. So that's 4X. So scope that out.
Yeah.
So it'll degrade.
Okay, so image isn't as clear, right? But I can still make out the silhouette and the full shape of it from the head box all the way down to the torso.
Yeah. You know, so you could use the magnification if it came down to it.
Yeah. Take some shots?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Let's see here. Going hot? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can PID with it 100%, man.
Well, and for me, it takes me to a world of like Terminator, you know, where like fucking Cyberdyne Systems turns the script on us and now we're the problem and they're sending fucking attack drones and shit after us. And you're just like, okay, on a budget of like $1,200, could I use that to defend myself from attack drones? All right, everyone, here's the scenario. Cyberdyne Systems has gone rogue. Unfortunately, they have sent shitty Chinese attack drones after your boys at the 1911 Syndicate. These drones have not been kind to us. They go about 20 feet. You could donate to the Patreon, help us raise some money for some proper gear. Link in the video description. Anyway, let's see if we can smoke some drones out of the sky. Drone inbound. Fuck you, Cyberdyne. Not on my watch. Where's she at? Yes, there you go. The remnant, like a wounded, stupid drone. Propeller right there, done. If you guys ever send attack drones after us, that's what's gonna happen 10 times out of 10. Do we need a whole mag to get the job done? Yeah, we do. But you know what? Dead.
Cyberdyne's coming. Fuck you, Terminator. There it is. That's what you get when you mess with us.
What if it's like a horror movie and just when you think it's dead, it comes back alive and the blades just cut your hand off?
That wouldn't be awesome.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about, really start to give you some analysis. And, you know, I've spent the last month with this, multiple, you know, trips at night and, you know, nighttime, you know, basement stuff and all kinds of fun things like that. So I really wanted to do some due diligence on this because the thing's so sort of unique and original in many ways that it was like, okay, I feel like the words communicated here to an audience of prospective buyers maybe mean a little bit more than usual. So let me give you some thoughts. Well, let me ask you this first. When you shot, we're filming this right now a different day than we shot the optics the other night.
Yep.
Was it better, worse, as expected? Like what'd you think?
So when we our first like iteration of it, I was like, yeah, it's cool. It's not quite what I expected.
Okay.
But then when we got a different target to see a little bit more clear with the ambient light, it really kind of shined.
Okay.
Right? I could see more features on the target. It just looked better. The picture cleared up. It was just an overall better experience, which then brought my expectations up even more.
Okay.
So
yeah, obviously environmental issues are a very real thing when it comes to night vision, especially if you're not using an illuminator, which this is not. So, okay, cool. So let me give you some of my thoughts. So I kind of went this route. What is the use case and where does it do well? And then we'll talk about the inverse of that. So what's the use case? What does it do well? I think it provides shooters a very approachable way to dip their toe into the world of night vision, okay? Like, basically a low barrier for entry, AKA attractive price point for someone who's not into nods to get to dabble in that world.
Like. Yeah.
To get to dabble in that world.
I think that's very fair.
Right? Okay. I believe it does very well as a down and dirty nods gun solution that basically doesn't require helmet, tubes, emitter, everything. It's like, hey, a down and dirty nods gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because just from nods accessories, you're going to get over the price of this.
Easily. Yeah. Quickly. Like real quick. So, but, and as an example, so when for a little while I was running a mono tube setup.
Yep.
I had a mono tube helmet and a D-ball, and that is almost 5Gs.
Yeah, I was going to say 5.
So that's about 5Gs. So if you go, man, for a basic actual night vision setup, right, versus literally sub $1,200, you're like, boy, there's a vast difference there in terms of like, if you were saying, I'm interested in night vision, but I don't want to go too hard, too deep down the rabbit hole. You go, hey, look, here is an option to begin to dip your toe into that world, okay? So I also look at this from kind of a clinical side. I go, okay, you get a new rifle, and let's just say you were going to drop $500 on a new red dot for your rifle. Go, okay, what if you were to just double the budget and say, hey, for roughly $1,000, I could have my red dot, but also have the ability to run some kind of down and dirty night vision.
Yeah.
You're like, this doesn't seem like that far of a stretch.
You justify that price pretty easy when you put it that way. Especially if $100 is just the mount.
Right.
So 500 plus 100, 600. I mean, the difference with that is arguable.
I mean, it really is. I also think that this does very well. Actually, I think it does very well in the role of someone like myself, where, hey, oftentimes me and this four-legged animal here will be out in the desert after dark. And hey, I might not want to have my helmet and my tubes and then my dedicated night vision gun with the emitter and everything. It's like, I might not want to have to take that outside every time if I'm going to be out a little bit after dark. So you go, look, man, I could just have that in my bag as a end-all be-all solution. No, but an option.
Another option.
To be able to be out after night and have some ability to look out and, shoot or do whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's some of the pros. What isn't it for and what doesn't it do well? So, it's not perfect. Okay. The only issue I've actually had with this is when I first got it, me and Crispy there behind the camera, we actually came to the spot the first night running it, and we were using the onboard recording feature, and we just couldn't get it to sync up with the computer. It's a very simple system to get your footage to import, and we just couldn't. And I took it home, hoping maybe it was the cold or whatever, and it's like it just wouldn't sync up. So I did a full reset of the system, and I've never had an issue since. Okay, so it was like it's just some little bug or something.
One-off little glitch.
Yeah, that was in the system, right? But just be aware of that. Hey, if you get this before you fill up the onboard computer with a bunch of footage and then figure out, oh man, maybe I have the glitch too. Hey, just check, record a video at your house, sync it up, and as long as everything comes on properly and everything, you'll be good to go, right? So maybe do that. Is it a huge deal? No, not at all. I'm nitpicking, but I'm just disclosing to you any little things I've found. It is also not a replacement for dedicated night vision.
Correct.
Okay? Like, I'm going to be very clear on that. And Holosun, I believe if you were to ever meet someone from the Holosun team, I think they would tell you the same thing. This is not a replacement for tubes. It's in a totally different lane. Okay?
Yeah, it's a supplemental night vision device.
Yes. And part of that is because you just have a very limited field of view, okay? You're looking through a tiny screen. And so versus a tube that's right up on your eyes and it's going to cover a much bigger, area of the world, especially dual tubes or something like that. So you do have a very limited field of view. One thing that I would suggest doing, some of you might have noticed that optic's really far back. Yes, normally you'd run your red dot way further forward, right? But if I'm trying to increase my field of view as much as possible, bump that thing as far back as you can, man.
Yeah, and there are some good shooters I know that run a red dot back, but because of how this works with the overlay and everything, you're going to want it back.
Yeah, yeah. Run it all the way back and just increase that visibility a little bit. I would also tell you, hey, it has a clear limitation in terms of, sort of passively navigating. What I mean is, if I've got night vision tubes on, cool, I can have my rifle here, look out through the world through night vision. Well, anytime I'm looking at night vision on that, I'm pointing a gun at something.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're looking through the tube.
Yeah, so it's like if you're just trying to look around the world, hey, that's cool, you can do that. Be aware, hey, you're pointing a gun at everything that you're looking at through your night vision.
Correct.
So it's like, hey, that's not a problem of the system, it's just an observation. Like you just got to be aware of that. So final thoughts from me is, this is Gen 1 tech, okay? And Gen 1 tech is never perfect. I would in many ways tell you this is the worst this is ever going to be.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the first time we looked through it and I was shooting whatever time frame that was, that's what I said is like, the thing about this is it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, 100%. It's like some of the there's reviews coming out on Apple's Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are going, hey, look, there's glitches, it has little bugs. Like, is it perfect? No. But is it a really promising start to the future? Yes, because this is the worst this thing's ever going to be. And I would say much in the same vein with that, except I don't think that that's actually rough but promising. I think it's actually just pretty damn good out of the gate.
Yeah.
So is it perfect? No. But I really salute the ingenuity of it. And the reality is, there's only one civilian competitive product that I've been able to find, and it's 10 grand, okay? So there's only one thing I can find for the civilian market that does the same thing as this, and it's 10x the price.
I'm trying to think of what that is. Huh?
ATN.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
ATN has some product. And so you just go, man, these guys are really creating a product category here.
Sure.
Unless you're just playing with mega bucks. But it's like, hey, if you're on a reasonable budget, you like gear, but you don't want to drop 10 grand on an experiment, you're like, they kind of got the only game in town.
Yeah.
So it is pretty fascinating. So all that to be said, sort of final ranking for me on this thing. Boy, I actually purposely don't really think about these in advance because I kind of just want to just feel
organic.
It in the
Yeah.
moment. Look, man, I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to give it a solid B. And a B by definition is it's good. I believe this is a good product. Yeah. Could it be better? Sure. Is it perfect out of the gates on the tech side? Not necessarily. I think it's pretty damn good. I think if you get one, you should anticipate, just understand that. And you might have no issues. I would barely even limit that one little onboard thing as an issue. It was just a little glitch that got solved, but it's like, I think it's a solid B, man. I think it's a good product. I think they're going to sell a shit ton of these things.
Yeah.
I think they're going to sell a shit ton of those things.
Yeah. I mean, the proven track record that they have earned over time, even with us, will lead to hopefully reliability in this and just further product development.
Yeah. So for me, thumbs up. Winner.
All right, Jake, we got a cool giveaway from the folks over at Firearms Legal Protection. They're doing a giveaway for a individual plan.
Yep.
With this giveaway, you're covered in your state. It's the individual basic plan. It also has attorney hotline, much like the other packages we're doing. There's no difference in that. It also covers any legally justified use of force and or weapons. Okay.
So here's how you enter. We've got a link for our FLP page that's down in the video description. If you click on that, there'll be a little box there for like enter the giveaway. You can click on that. Put in your details. You got 48 hours from after this video comes out. Okay. A winner will be randomly drawn, okay?
Yep.
Thrilling stuff.
And someone from FLP will be reaching out.
Reach out. If anyone else reaches out and they're like, hey, I'm your guy. You just got to give me your credit card number and I'll get you the stuff. Like, that ain't the guy, okay? He ain't our guy. He ain't FLP's guy. Someone from FLP, probably, I won't tell you her name, but probably a female from FLP will reach out and make sure that you get set up, okay? So jump in there. It's cool. It's great service. You guys should have it anyway. We've both got it ourselves. So check it out. See you guys next week.